The way to think about the biometric onboarding process and the use of biometrics is we're getting more comfortable with it. There's about $11 billion of payments will be undertaken in biometrics by 2030. So we as human beings are starting to say, I derive comfort from that. It gives me the appropriate convenience. And with convenience comes risk. And as fraudsters are starting to look at this, they're starting to say, how do we use AI and ML tools to try to use that as an attack vector to get in and take advantage of the onboarding experience. And what we're looking at trying to address through our own machine learning and understanding behavioral and contextual attributes of biometric. Also, when you look at motion for onboarding, you begin to understand human behavior. We're at an advanced stage of being able to do that in a predictive manner and try to put up the appropriate security measures to ensure that we're not putting organizations and consumers at risk. We've become more familiar now with asserting our face. We do that now with emotion detection, but what you're seeing more is a layered approach to biometric. As you begin to look at depth perception, you begin to look at voice, you begin to incorporate things like behavioral, contextual, gesture. All of these things come to provide a unique attribute for an individual. And the more we begin to understand how we look at human behavior and how people like to conduct business, the better equipped we are to anticipate who that is and also provide the appropriate convenience and risk posture for organizations to give people the freedom to transact and go about their business. Really comes down to the keyword of balance. How do you balance the friction that you invite when you're trying to attract a customer and enable them versus preventing the kind of fraudulent attacks that organizations today are seeing grow at exponential rates? And the fraudulent activity is built into the cost of doing business. It's in the price of goods and services that we pay. When those things ultimately go out of kilter, organizations will typically put more friction at the front end. But depending on which geography you're in, whether you're in the US or in Europe, whether that friction would be accepted or not. The US has zero tolerance for friction. It's convenience, and a layered security approach of friction is typically more of an active approach you would take at that time. The concept of passive is, can you enable some type of background activity to be undertaken with not inviting too much friction when people are going about their business? As our customers, financial institutions and governments, go about onboarding their citizens or their customers to go about their business, knowing your customer is right at the forefront of what you have to think about and what friction you try to invite. And being able to profile that with a rules engine and some type of delivery mechanism, which is typically an orchestration layer that enables you to then decide at that time what you invite or what you don't, is how organizations should think about balancing that risk. You want to give consumers choice, and you want to give our customers the choice of when to invite it or not. And biometric, for all the things that we talk about in terms of what it invites, it also provides a much greater level of security and comfort and convenience for customers in the modern arena, and something that should continue to be capitalized on.